Hi, welcome back, guys. We are at the first annual World Championship for Rune Wars Miniatures game. I'm Brooke Robison.
And I'm Jim Cartwright. And this is the final match for Rune Wars for the World Championship. We have two, it's narrowed down to just two players, both playing the Latari Elves.
All other factions have been eliminated.
Eliminated. They're done. They're out.
So now it's a blood match.
If this is the first time you're tuning in, we have the winner from both of our top four matches. First up, we've got Andrew Miller, who, if you were watching the stream earlier, was able to pull out a victory over his Y-Car player and advance. And on the other side of the table, who you've not seen yet, is Ben Fox.
Now, Ben Fox actually crafted his army entirely by theory. He's come all the way from Ireland, and the Latari Elf army expansion is not yet available over there, so this is his first time playing it. As you can see, his figures are not even painted yet. He just picked them up on Tuesday.
Yeah, he just bought them a couple of days ago. Theory crafted the entire thing online, showed up here to compete as a Latari player. That is impressive. It looks like his list consists of, we've got 5 Scion units, as well as a Deepwood Archer unit of just the two trays, and then running both heroes, both Aliana and Megan Sinduin, with a couple of upgrades. So it looks like the Scions actually all have vicious roots. And actually, we did get some information from Ben earlier. He wants to let everyone know that his faction, or his list name, is the Nation of Immobilization. So I feel like there's like a hashtag that could be like...
Indeed. So his goal is very clear. He is going to try to hold all of his enemies in place and then just wipe them out, which is actually going to be very helpful going up against Latari, whose key strength for most of their units is their mobility.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is a great mirror match upgrade to have to really kind of lock in his opponent's units and keep them from getting into the position they need to be. So in addition to those 4 Scion units with 5 Scion units, all with vicious roots. Also 2 Deepwood Archer units. We've got the 2 heroes with their upgrades. So Aliana has, surprise to nobody, this will be on both sides, Ambush Predator. So Ambush Predator allows Aliana to basically get into melee combat without being able to be targeted. So once she's in melee and uses it, and that does an attack, she loses Ambush Predator. But it keeps all of those pesky ranged units off of her and allows her to kind of maneuver without having to worry about that.
In addition to that, Aliana will also be sporting Pack Leader's Spear. So this card can be exhausted during a melee attack in order to gain lethal 3. So adding 3 damage essentially to the results of any dice roll, which can really be vital if you're in a tight spot and the dice are not in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, the really interesting thing about Pack Leader's Spear is that if it's exhausted and the enemy unit that you're engaged with is destroyed, you get to ready the card for free. So it cannot be readied normally, so you won't be able to use inspiration tokens or rally action in order to bring it back. So it's only got that one use, but once you've destroyed whatever it is, it comes back for free, which is really neat.
Mm-hmm. Which can come in really handy against some of the Amelin Scions.
Absolutely. So in addition, Megan Sinduin is sporting just the 1 upgrade, the Arcane Mastery, which is exclusive to her. As a skill action, she can choose an enemy at range 1 to the unstable runes, so that can be up to potentially 4. And that enemy will receive a panic token. And then they choose another enemy at range 1 to natural runes, and then remove a boon from that enemy, and then choose an enemy at range 1 to stable runes, and that enemy receives a stun token. So really focusing in on shutting down your opponent's units.
Right, and this is clearly going to be skills that Megan has gained in her travels across the realm to try to avenge the death of her mother. So she has traveled from shore to shore, mastering both martial skills and her link to the arcane, and now she can utilize all forms of energies that can appear in the battlefield.
Absolutely. And Andrew Miller's list, in case you did not get a chance to check out the stream earlier, first of all, where were you? But also, that list consists of 2 Leonx Rider units, both at 6 full trays, both running Moment of Inspiration for the extra white die on exhaust, and Bull Pennon for the extra impact. So both of the Leonx Riders will be running in at impact 2. One of them, however, is being led by Megan Sinduin. So is this a case where you have 2 of these, we've got both heroes on both sides in some form. Mm-hmm. So who is the imposter? Is this what the battle's about?
Yes, I believe it is. So the victors write history, so I suppose whoever the winner is the original.
that is a good point.
But we won't actually know. They could just be evil twins. They could be imposters from the Athuk.
See, look at that. I tell you what, Brooke, you always manage to find a way.
I can bring anything back to the Athuk. Like, that'll be my challenge for the rest of the game.
You heard it here, folks. So it's going to be, everything will be about the Athuk Yu'lon. Hey, I said it right that time.
Yeah. What you can look forward to from us is a lot of mispronunciation of words.
Yep.
Specifically, Waykar, Wykar, Yu'lon, and...
I will definitely probably say pounce too many times.
Yep.
That will happen. We might ask for interesting moose names. That might happen as well. Those of you who were joining us earlier know what we're talking about.
Unfortunately, Aliana's, her Leonx has been named.
Oh, so we cannot do cool cat names. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But, I mean, we can throw out cat names. You can name your own Leonx, I suppose, if you're a Latari player.
That's true. It doesn't have to necessarily be Aliana's. Speaking of which, Aliana is also running on her own in Andrew Miller's list, also with Ambush Predator. The difference being that Andrew's Aliana is going to be running Malkorn's Bequest. So after energy tokens are cast during setup and the end phase, you may recast 1 energy token with active or inactive unstable runes. Then you may exhaust this card to recast 1 energy token. So this is going to allow, from what we saw from Andrew Miller earlier, he is all about getting that extra oomph out of Megan Sinduin's ability on her card, because one of the Leonx Riders, as I mentioned earlier, is running the Megan Sinduin upgrade. So that gains for each surge, every enemy at range, or each enemy at range 1 to unstable runes, so the defender suffers a damage per surge spent. And then also important in that is lethal to natural runes. So you're probably going to see him tossing any of the the unstable runes to try to switch them over to the natural runes.
Hopefully Andrew will have a little bit more luck with his rune casting than in the last game.
That's true, yeah. It seemed like every time he went to go recast using the ability, it just ended up going right back to the same side. Also on Andrew's list, we've got the Deepwood Archers, both with the Dispatch Runner, the Rallying Starling, Simultaneous Orders, and the Wind Rune. We watched him to pretty great effect in the last game, be able to use the Archer unit to kind of follow in Megan and her Leonx Rider group and kind of push forward and always get that second attack in. Going to be very powerful.
So our setup for this final game in the World Championship, Haroon Rosmanich's game,
World Championship,
is going to be Hammer and Anvil.
Yes. So on the one side, we have an only 3 range deep deployment zone, but across the entire 6 feet of the board. And then we have a 5, basically a range ruler's length deep section, which we see here set up in the setup from Ben Fox, where it's a range ruler 5 on either side, but it's 5 deep. So it gets them further into the board.
And our objective for this final game is going to be supply rate. So during setup, each player takes 4 objective tokens. Then, starting with the player who did not choose the card, the players take turns placing the tokens at range 1 to 2 of their opponent's deployment area, but beyond range 1 of terrain, other objective tokens, or the edge of the play area.
And yep, and you can see those objective tokens have been set up already. You've got the 4 kind of forming a line there right in front of the, we're going to call southeast side of the board. For those who didn't join us, we've got the, we're going to call based on cardinal direction. So that unit that's being placed right now by Andrew Miller is in the northeast corner. We've got Ben Fox is on the west. So.
Oh, we might have some commentator dispute. I'm going to be going with like upper right,
Okay.
lower left.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. That's yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry, I'm not quite as refined.
No, you're more refined. You're just like, yeah, it's right there. It's cool. It's the top right. Hey, he's moving that unit. That's me. See,
So anyway, during play for the supply raid, when a unit overlaps an objective token, you place that token on your unit card. When a unit is destroyed, place any objective tokens from that card on the play area in the center of where the unit's last tray was positioned.
So basically, you kill it. It drops the token in wherever the center of that last tray was, to be picked up again. And most importantly, is that at the end of the game, every objective token on a unit card is worth 20 points. So we have 160 points worth of objective tokens on the board to start. So positioning is interesting here. The Scions, they've got the they're the ones holding the rocks there. They've got all 4 of them have, or all 5 of them, I'm sorry, have Vicious Roots.
3 of them have Vicious Roots.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3 of them have the Vicious Roots upgrade, and then 2 of them are not. So the ones with the rocks are the ones if you can see the models that are holding the rocks, those are the ones with Vicious Roots.
So in like the lower left quadrant. So we've got is it Scion or Scion?
Scion.
Ah, dang it.
Okay, we've got this now going.
Yeah.
So this will be the new word of the day. So yes, so the Scion that is kind of alone on the bottom half of the map on the left-hand side is holding a rock that is one with Vicious Roots. So that should make it easy to differentiate if you can see those models.
Well, the roots cannot pick up a rock if they are not in fact vicious.
That is true. That is very true. So this is an interesting deployment here. It almost looks as though Andrew Miller's ignoring the objective tokens. That is gutsy. He's placed all of his units except for Aliana. Unless there's a potential that he uses Aliana to pick up all 4 of those. She is a unit that you want to get engaged late in the round, or late in the game, since her lethal X on her Ambush Predator is equal to whatever round we are in when she uses it. So last game we saw him use it around 7, so that lethal 7 was crucial in taking down a final Y-Car archer unit. So I would be interested to see if that's where he's going to place his Aliana, is down in that bottom right.
Mm-hmm. And if he does send her away for much of the game, she can pick up all those objectives. The Scion does not stand a chance of matching her for speed.
Yeah, absolutely not. On Ben Fox's side, it looks like he's got his Scions positioned as kind of a wall protecting those archer units as a kind of a. From what I understand, here's Andrew Miller dropping Aliana as we anticipated.
We are not soothsayers, but we can pretend to be.
We can pretend to be, yes. Yes, it was just as we thought it would be. We knew that he would place that there. No, we didn't. We just guessed. And
well, don't give the game away already.
Oh, right. Yes, I'm not supposed to say what happens, who wins until it actually does. My
Exactly.
mistake.
I mean, we know. We just can't say.
Right. We just can't say. So
no, we don't. Anything can happen
Anything
in
can
Rune
happen.
Wars.
And here at the Fantasy Flight Games World Championship. So the first cast, we've got 2 stable and 2 natural runes. This is an interesting spot. This gives Andrew Miller has the opportunity to use Megan's or the Malkorn's bequest to recast one of those. It looks like he's chosen not to. So he's going to keep it at 2 natural, 2 stable runes.
But it's also going to be very helpful for Ben Fox because he's using a lot of the Scions whose defense is actually equal to 1 plus the number of stable energy runes in play.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a really good point. That keeps them really healthy. Although in that first round, you always think, oh, I got the perfect runes for my army. Except that in the first round, you're not. I shouldn't say never, but you're rarely getting into engaged combat. But we'll see.
But with the Latari, if it were going to happen early in the round, this would be the faction.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, looks like all of Andrew Miller's dials are set. We do have quite a few more units from Ben Fox. He is running a total of, I believe, 9, if I'm counting that correctly. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Looks like 9 units, including both heroes. That's a really interesting combination. I don't think I've ever seen both of the Latari heroes by themselves before.
But I mean, they're both strong, independent women who can hold their own.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. The Latari have drawn their strength from their. Are either of them a queen?
Megan Sinduin is the leader of the Latari. Now, the court is not too fond of her, mainly because of her father and how he helped the Athuk, which was, very much not good.
Not good.
But I mean, the king trusts her, and no matter what the nobles think of her, she will fight for her people.
Absolutely, and yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see how a loose Megan Sinduin will kind of disrupt.
Would you say that she's loose on a noose?
And the moose jokes have begun already. Does this mean that we should already start our name Megan Sinduin moose on the channel? Or is it a little too early for that?
It's a little too early. I'm really fond of Bob Joe Sox.
Bob Joe Sox. Bob Joe Sox was the hands down winner from our earlier stream. Hashtag Bob Joe Sox. So I guess from now on we will be referring to Megan Sinduin's moose as Bob Joe Sox. So for those of you at home, that's just a little bit of information for you. So you're not lost.
So the winner of the World Championship, they have a very unique opportunity. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, they absolutely do. I believe it is known as the best prize in gaming. Not only do you have the accolades showered upon you by all of the Rune Wars players around the world, especially the Latari ones, since that's what we're going to see as a Latari champion, but also you also get to sit down with members of the development team for Rune Wars and design your own card. Which is really, really cool.
And maybe they would get to name that card Bob Joe Sox.
Bob Joe Sox we are going to, that's, you know what, you should make that suggestion to whoever wins.
No, I mean, I like my job, so
we could
not do that.
What about this? What if, so maybe you're right. Maybe we can't be the ones who usher that in, but what if we reached out to the users on Twitch to start a campaign of hashtag winner, hashtag Bob Joe Sox? No, that's not going to work.
No.
All right, let's. So it looks like we're getting the last of the dials set up here, and we have the round should be starting here at any time. Also, if you didn't see, it looks like it's probably about 2 minutes away. But if you didn't see that fancy green range ruler sitting in front of Andrew Miller, that was the prize awarded to whoever had the best points after the Swiss rounds for each faction. So coming into this, does that mean that Ben Fox is an underdog?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of how I read it too. First, this is his first tournament playing with the Latari. I don't know what Andrew Miller's experience is prior to today, but he clearly came out ahead in terms of points across all Latari in the event. So I don't know. Do you think that would put some kind of intimidation factor, looking across the board, seeing this beautiful range ruler in emerald staring you down, knowing that at the end of Swiss, your opponent had more points?
Well, it is a very intimidating range ruler, but If I were Ben Fox, I would be more concerned about the large groups of the Leonx riders.
Sure, yes. We saw the amount of damage that can be done with those units earlier. They have a lot of damage potential, and they really dig. They really dig into the. They can really dig into the morality deck, morale deck, not morality. It also is to note that that Ben Fox does have one of the purple rulers given to the Ykar. So he is off from his normal faction here for this.
Well, I mean, you don't make it to the final round of the World Championship for Rune Wars miniatures game just by chance.
That's true. That is true. There's a lot of talent involved. And it sounds like Ben's got his own little soundtrack going on to each of the things. That's fun.
Well, I mean, making unnecessary sound effects is a favorite pastime of many people.
That is true. Sometimes your hosts included.
Yeah, but I think it would be just odd if we started doing it because they
Yes.
can't actually see us. So if
Yeah.
we were like, pow, with fists, like I just
Yeah, or
pretended to
like the
punch
finger
things.
guns doesn't work either.
Well,
I mean, it
finger guns are
does.
cool whether you can see them or not.
That's true. You just have to reference them. So it looks like we've got a, we're going to shift and +1 defense. So we talked a little bit about in the first game how we have this first round is really a feel out your opponent, see what kind of player they are. Are they going to be more aggressive? Are they going to be more defensive? That observation can really start to mold the rest of your game, right? So I'm curious to
And
see.
he's doing the double shift with Aliana, picking up 2 objective tokens right off the bat.
Yep, and I imagine that the next round will probably be similar to, well, we're going to see this clash here. Now that's going to be interesting because that Scion, if it manages to engage Megan Sinduin there, oh, I'm sorry, Aliana there, with the Ambush Predator, Ben is actually pulling that off early. So it's actually going to be very critical, I think, for that Aliana to avoid getting into melee with that Scion. That would just waste the Ambush Predator.
Exactly. So Andrew could definitely just maybe pick up 1 more objective token down there and then use Aliana's insane mobility to just go around the Scion.
Yeah, just kind of a sidestep. Yeah, that would be great. In terms of keeping away from the the Scion and that gambit of pulling off the Ambush Predator early.
And its vicious roots.
And it does have vicious roots. Now that's an interesting thing to mention. I don't think we talked about what vicious roots does. So when the Scion attacks, if the defender is at range 1 to 3, you can discard it and they receive an immobilized token. And if you do, the defender discards all of their boons, and then they receive an immobilized token. So you're looking at a situation where the Scion is putting itself in place, but ensuring that whatever target they have is also not going anywhere. So looks here like we have some of the archer units. It's going to shift over after doing a rally. So a lot of positioning here in this first round. I mean, the first couple rounds really, as you kind of get a feel for the battlefield, for the pace of your opponent.
No, I'm surprised that Ben is rallying so early. You would think that'd be something that Andrew would really want to do.
Sure. Although the archers, they have. They are also. They do not have any upgrades on them. So, although that is, it's always good to have an inspiration token in your back pocket, right?
True.
Especially when it allows you to kind of dictate the pace and timing. He used the green stance to be able to get that shift in and the rally. He might have been baiting in terms of how he paced out his initiatives to see how that would kind of play out. So it looks like Andrew really aggressive with that Megan Sinduin Leonx unit. Complete opposite of what we saw from him against the Wycar player.
Perhaps his previous victory has given him a boost of confidence.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it's smart, right? Because now he's engaged, even though wasn't able to do the charge. He is going to get a panic token for that. So he used his 4 charge and then his modifier of 2 charge in order to engage that Scion. But the thing that's nice about that is that now he's engaged, and that Scion will and other Scions rooting him or using Immobilize there is not going to be quite as strong.
So it seems like we're going to have an opposite type of game as to what we saw previously on the stream, where it was a lot of range attacks in the beginning, really feeling out your enemy, whereas this one is just getting in there right away.
Yeah, I've really been unable to predict Andrew Miller over these last two streams. I feel almost like every time I say he's going to do something, he does the absolute opposite, which is good for him. I mean, again, he's the one there, not me. So his mind being an enigma is probably better. So we've got the morale test happening here. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is, he's looking at, so Ben has requested to take a look at the opposing, one of the units. Looks like it's Aliana. So, no, that can't be right. Looks like it, with four upgrades on that, that has to be the Deepwood Archers. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Just wanting to make sure that he has down all of those little nuances of simultaneous orders and rallying Starling, combined with the dispatch runner and Wind Rune.
Yeah. But it seems like Wind Rune is just a favorite pairing of all Atari players with the Deepwood Archers.
Absolutely. It gives them such incredible mobility to get where they need to be. In the case of Andrew Miller, it gets them in position to be able to pull this attack off, where he is using now his dispatch runner to use, to basically order Megan Sinduin's Leonx riders to attack that Scion. So we have 3 hits. Oh, he's re-rolling into that. This is that aggressive play from Andrew Miller in terms of digging deep for a lot of the morale cards.
And we saw his aggressive re-roll strategies in the last game as well. It often worked to his favor.
It did. It absolutely did. Yeah, more times than not, I believe he rolled into what he needed. So he's looking at, he's got 4 damage or 4 hits showing. He's going to re-roll this, try to get, nope, he runs into the same result, which is still okay.
To do 3 damage to everybody within 1 of him.
So spending those 3 surges, which is probably what he was digging for, it gives, it allows him to use the Megan Sinduin's upgrade card ability, which for each surge that he spends, each enemy at range 1 to unstable ruins, which is going to stay at 1, basically at 0, suffers a damage per surge spent. So minimum on that is a 1. So this is going to do that 3 damage because he's spending 3 surges to everything.
6 damage from the charge.
So, and with that, each of those Scions is going to take a wound, since right now they're sitting at 3 defense. And so that was the first action there. With so simultaneous orders allows him to perform a second action, skill ability action, and he's going to use Rallying Starling, and he's getting rid of some of the panic. So that was a very strong turn, using that combination we saw to great effect in the last match, of using the archers to kind of just push forward another unit. So that's the end of the round. We're going to recast our runes here for round 2. Be curious to see how Ben Fox responds.
So we have a lot of unstable energy runes. That's going to be great for Megan Sinduin. Let's see here. But not so great for the Scions?
Scions, yep.
Yeah, all right,
You got
Scions, who only have the 1 stable energy. So that's going to lower their defense from the last round down to 2.
And it looks like it doesn't look like Andrew Miller has decided to recast those. So he's not digging deeper into basically getting his the 4 unstables means that when Megan Sinduin does her surge toss, right, what we just saw happen against that first Scion, it's every enemy unit at range 1 to 4 then suffers that damage. So,
and since she's in the middle of the fray right there, that's the best place for her to be.
Absolutely, and it is something to note that it does not it does not require line of sight. So each enemy at range 1, 2, in this case 4, would suffer 1 damage per surge spent. So it could be behind her, sides, does not matter. That is an important distinction to note.
Mm-hmm. So he's really going to want to have her attack as early as possible.
Yep.
So she's with the Leox Riders? Yes?
She is, yes.
So that'll be at initiative 4.
Yep, and actually you could potentially, well, she's not engaged with anything right now, so she could use her charge at as early as initiative 3 with the +1 modifier on charge. I don't know if that will quite get her unit up to that Scion, so I think it's going to have to be the initiative 4, like you were mentioning, to use the 2 charge with the +1 charge modifier to bring, I think 3 should be close enough, but I guess we'll see.
So what Ben would really want would be to attack as early as possible, which with the Scions, that's...
Scions.
Scions, dang it!
This is so different. I'm on the other end now with all my Y-car mispronunciation.
Right, but their melee action doesn't fall till initiative 5. So that's unfortunate.
So they could almost, if Ben thinks that, although I don't know how confident I would be in this case, but if Ben thinks that his Scion could weather the charge, then he could use the initiative 5 to attack back. I don't know if that's a good strategy though. They are used at this point, so the key to look for is the Scions at 3 have their skill action. So at initiative 3, which is going to be before, and let's see, the initiative is to Andrew Miller. So Andrew will get first. If they both go at 3, Andrew will go first. But I don't think at 3 he will reach. On the Scion side, at 3 they get skill action, and he can use his roots. He can use the Vicious Roots ability. Oh, he doesn't. I'm sorry. That's not a skill action. That's going to be based off a ranged attack. So the Scions, yeah, they're ranged later. So nope, that's my mistake. That's not going to work. Skill action isn't going to do them any good. So yeah, I'll tell you what though, I am really interested in seeing how this. I know there's a lot of action going up in the top portion of the screen, and if you can see in the bottom, we have the objectives claimed, with 3 to Andrew Miller and 1 to Ben Fox. Although Megan is the one seems to be picking up ones in that top half of the board. But I'm really interested to see how this matchup in the bottom of the screen takes place, right? Because we have Aliana with her Ambush Predator, and that if that Scion engages her, she's going to have to either make the decision to just attack, right, and use it, or retreat, because that would really be the only way to keep it on her. But it's such a good play by Ben Fox to put that Scion there to try to pull off, at least that's what I think is his reasoning, to try to pull off that Ambush Predator.
Well, I don't think that Andrew Miller is going to go for that.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. That is probably one of the, like, again, there's a lot of action in the top, but this bottom matchup is really interesting to me. So,
but as we have said before, we are not soothsayers.
Yeah, not soothsayers.
Anything can happen in Rune Wars Miniatures game.
And also we are ourselves not playing at Worlds, so only take our advice or our predictions with a grain of salt.
Maybe a couple grains.
Okay, a couple grains.
Like a good teaspoon, maybe a tablespoon.
A tablespoon of salt. That's quite a bit of salt.
Yeah.
So we have the other Leonx riders now running into a second Scion. Now, based on that pose, I do not believe that is a Scion with a rock, so that is not a Scion with Vicious Roots. So it's literally just there to be the wall. Now, I will say that as aggressive as Andrew Miller has been, that has given Ben Fox a pretty good idea that his archers are probably okay to start firing. I would be concerned, though, with that top left archer unit to be really exposed to Megan Sinduin up north. So here comes the attack roll. Ooh,
A
wow.
lot of hits.
That is a lot of hits. So we've got there, well, I didn't see all of them, but it's a, you know what, it was enough to where he just decimated that Scion, who was only getting the benefit of the one stable rune. So instead of having a 3 defense like last round, the Scion only had a 2 defense. And it looked like there were 5 or 6 hits there.
Sure. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, it was, I mean, it was quick. I still don't think I caught it exactly. So, so that is another Scion down. Very quick work. Andrew Miller is making very quick work of this Scion wall. Let's see what kind of response Ben Fox has with his archers. But here comes Megan Sinduin before that to charge in.
Oh no, she's got all those unstable energy runes this round.
She does. The question becomes, and I can't quite tell what those tokens are. Is there an immobilized token there? It does not look like it. I don't think I saw any of the Scions toss one of those over there. So this is going to smash into another Scion. Now this one looks like one with Vicious Roots. It also already has a wound on it from Megan Sinduin's attack last round.
Mm-hmm.
So
this round, she can essentially just release a magic bomb and just
yeah, that's essentially
everybody.
what's going to happen. Yeah, the archers, the Scions, everything out there. I think everything except for that southern or bottom Scion is going to take damage from Megan's attack. And keep in mind that Andrew can actually use that ability twice this round. Once on this attack, and if he doesn't kill the Scion, he can use the archers to use Dispatch Runner and make her do it again. I would almost not want to kill the Scion because you're at this point putting up so much AoE damage that it would be more beneficial to not kill the Scion you're engaged with so that you can use the archers to use the Dispatch Runner and do it again and then have that explosion go off and hope for a bunch of surges. So we're looking at what kind of range. So, okay, so he's going to go after this. Yeah, he can choose which way to square up. He's choosing to engage or to square up towards the camera, and then stopping basically when we get to the terrain. So it does look like there's a panic and a stun token on Megan Sinduin, which allows for when that's spent, it ignores the modifier. So interesting that Ben Fox decided not to use that when this was revealed. It doesn't look like it was a charge, though, now that I'm looking at the dial. So that was actually a smart move. Not sure if Andrew thought he could bait it out, but that doesn't really work because your opponent gets to see the dial before spending the stun.
Mm-hmm. But that's kind of the whole chess element of Rune Wars. You never know what your opponent is going to do, so you have to constantly learn.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's every moment in the game is learning about your opponent, right? It's not just about what's happening on the field, but what you think they're trying to do and stopping it. Mm-hmm. So it looks like we have, so this is going to be Ambush along with the Pack Leader Spear being exhausted. So that Pack Leader Spear is exhausted for lethal 3, so that's going to add an additional 3 damage to the attack after the roll. Ambush Predator is going to only add the 2 lethal 2 to that. So the total of the attack is going to be a lethal 5, and then that Ambush Predator is going to go away. So here comes the attack roll. And it looks like we've got, so there's 1 miss, 2 hits, a surge, and a morale. Definitely going to put some rerolls in there, yep. Being conservative, I've seen some players try to reroll those reds into doubles, but
Including
just
Andrew Miller.
including Andrew Miller. So he gets an extra hit out of that, and it looks like the double surge. So he's going to use that surge, the unique surge, to add a damage. Also adds a mortal strike just in general. That's Aliana's ability. So it's going to be 3 hits, so 3 damage plus the 5, so 8. 9 if you include, so 8 hits, and then the mortal strike, or 8 damage and the mortal strike. So that's going to take out 4 Leonx Riders. And actually 5, because the mortal strike should take out the last one. Yep, there it is, being removed. So a huge hit by Aliana on that Leonx Rider. That was almost half the unit.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit later on in the stream, we are going to be doing another giveaway. So make sure you're paying attention to all the news coming through here. And if you have yet to, if this is your first time checking into Rune Wars, you're curious about what all this is about, don't forget you can always go to fantasyflightgames.com and check out all of the units that have released, as well as the upcoming faction, the Uthuk Yulan. I know you're excited.
Yes, so for the giveaway that's coming up later, it will be for the Uthuk Yulan Army box, as well as the Infantry Command Unit upgrade. So the Uthuk Yulan would actually be really good for going up against the Latari, since they also move in a similar way. They're more focused on speed, and they're very much about getting in your enemy's face in the early rounds and doing a lot of damage then, because a lot of their special abilities, they do damage to their enemies, but also to themselves, because you see the Uthuk, they don't care about who's ruling the realm. They just want to spill blood.
And this is your favorite faction? Is
yes,
that, yeah.
100%. Like Kethra Alak she is the mistress of the Blood Coven. She is the coolest thing that's ever happened. So when she was a child, she was a powerful sorceress, much like Megan Sinduin here of the Latari.
Mm-hmm.
But they sent her away to essentially witch school, right?
Okay, like Harry Potter?
Yes, but more violence.
Okay.
So, because she was so talented, she was a natural target for her rivals. So what did she decide to do? She killed every single last one of them, sacrificed them to the Infernal, and used their blood to summon up Haruk, her giant flesh ripper, which she now rides. And she is like the only Uthuk who can like ride a flesh ripper, because
that's awesome.
Like they will rip their handlers apart.
That's fantastic. Well,
and she named her flesh ripper. Did Megan Sinduin name her Moose? No.
No, Bob Joe Sox now, though. Bob Joe Sox. So it looks like Megan Sinduin from Ben Fox's Latari army has decided to put a little bit of damage into both of the upcoming. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry.
I was regaling you with tales of the Uthuk, and now, I mean, the Battle of Latari is before us. We have to return to the Aemon Forest.
Yes, and it was Megan Sinduin using her ranged attack on that on Megan Sinduin's own unit.
Oh my God, the Battle of the Evil Twins.
This is the Battle of the Evil Twins. This is going to get confusing real quick, folks. We'll try to keep it so that it's somewhat. So Ben Fox's Megan Sinduin used a ranged attack on the Leonx Riders of Andrew Miller that has the Megan Sinduin upgrade. So, okay, so here's this matchup I was really interested in. So as predicted, as you thought was going to happen, the Scion moves forward and takes that objective. Now, we're getting a little bit later in the round. So looking at Aliana's dial, looks like she's got shift coming up. She has her long march, but my guess would be the shift 2 going forward to grab that objective token, and then modifying that with another shift natural runes, which is going to do another 2, and shift to the left to just avoid that Scion.
I'm going to predict an Initiative 7, March 4, but modified with a charge.
With the charge. So you think that Andrew's going to spend the Ambush Predator on that Scion? Yes.
I think go big or go home.
All right,
I
go
think
big or
do
go
it.
home.
Yeah, I mean, Aliana, she has Megan up handling the rest of like the major cluster army up there. So this is really her objective for the battle.
Sure. And speaking of Aliana, Ben Fox's Aliana has now performed a melee attack against that Megan Sinduin-led Leonx Rider group. Also threw there's another stun on there. Going to spend the two panic tokens, and let's take a look and see what cards were pulled for that. So they put him down pretty quick. It looks like there's another Bane. So it was looks like there was a 2-in-1 spent, but it looks like they just added another Bane to that Leonx unit. This is another ranged attack. So now those archers getting involved. Oh, so double accuracy and a single. Yep, that's definitely going to be in a reroll. So 2, and they are 2. Yep, so it'll be 4 damage there.
Fair, yeah.
It's starting to whittle down that Leonx Rider, right? Like the Scions did their jobs. They put that wall up and said, you're not touching our archers, and now we're going to poke holes in you.
Exactly. And the Scions, while they may not be the fastest unit when compared to the rest of the Latari army, they are the fastest compared to the other trees of the Amelin Forest.
Yes, that is true, and not to be forgotten.
So when they grow older, they become forest guardians, and so
Okay.
those are the grand lumbering trees. Whereas the Scions, like when the Latari actually have to go to battle, and they need some, big high-power siege units, they will sing songs of growth and awakening to these trees to wake up the youngins, and then send them out with all their, youthful energy and vicious roots.
That's awesome. See, listen, you tune in for a game and you get a story, folks. You cannot ask for better entertainment. I mean,
Exactly. We've got a battle of evil twins, like multiple sets of evil twins.
you've got Bob Joe Sox twice.
Right? I mean, will Bob Joe Sox survive? We don't know.
That's really the tension here is Bob Joe Sox. So we've got our roll missing on the blue. Yeah, that always happens when I roll blues. Into a double accuracy, so it's just going to be the 1 with the surge. And just going to ping off 1 more of Megan Sinduin's Leonx Riders. And then it looks like the last unit of the round. Although did we see Aliana in the south make her move? So if I had to guess, then this is we have this move here. He's going to absolutely. I already see the skill modifier, so he's going to use that to. I would guess. Yep, he's going to dispatch runner Megan Sinduin's Leonx Riders against the Aliana from Ben Fox. He uses Moment of Inspiration to add the white die, so now we're looking at 4 dice being rolled. So that's going to end up being 2 white, a red, and a blue, I believe. Nope, 2 blues. So
We've got a blank. Let's see here. So Andrew will often re-roll when, even if, it would be safe to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So we see a couple hits, but he might re-roll them anyway.
So, yep, he's taking that blue hit, re-rolling it anyway. Good call. Gets the hit back. The accuracy doesn't do a whole lot of good against a standing hero, but it is the 3 hits, 6 damage total with the two threat. But then, yes, this is where Megan Sinduin's other ability just comes in. So he's just going to spread. He's going to spend the surge and do a damage to the archers. Fortunate for Ben Fox. those Scions have at least, in this round, are at a 2 defense. So with only rolling the single surge, which is why he rolled double, which is why Andrew re-rolled both the blues, was trying to dig for those surges. It's only going to take out one of the archers from those trays. Not quite as effective as he would have hoped.
So if you were confronted with your evil twin, what would you do to defeat them?
Well, but what if I'm the evil twin?
Bum, bum, bum.
Hashtag evil twin. No, I need to stop doing that.
Hey, you're the one throwing out hashtags.
It's true.
Here.
Just willy-nilly,
You're
just throwing them out.
Giving them away like candy.
At the end of this, they're not going to be worth anything. Hashtags will be useless, worthless.
Hashtag worthless hashtag.
Hashtag worthless hashtag. Yes. So there's some discussion here. We've got a judge in. I think they're talking about. I think Aliana was eliminated in that attack. I can't see her unit. So that's Megan Sinduin back in the very back. But yeah, it looks. I'm sorry. That is Aliana. What is she? So that is interesting. So he's going to shift and then engage. You called it.
Booyah! Yes.
Yep.
I am the soothsayer.
You are the suits.
Oh, sorry, guys. I think I might have been a little loud in people's ears. So I was excited.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You absolutely called that. Now, by running into the Scion, Aliana's going to get an automatic immobilized token. Her attack, though, is good enough to just wipe the Scion out. So that objective token that the Scion picked up this turn is going to drop, and we have that token there. So the immobilized token basically means that the next time that Aliana reveals any kind of movement action, it can be canceled by Ben spending that token. So here comes the recast for the runes at the end of round 2. We've got 2 natural, 2 unstable, 1 stable. At this point, I don't know if recasting it, well, at 4, if he doesn't recast this, I'd be really surprised. Recasting that blank, actually, I bet you that card's actually exhausted. So he's probably not going to be able to use, he's not going to be able to use his Malkorn's Bequest to just recast that. It has to be on the side with the actual unstable runes. So they're setting their dials here. What do you expect to see?
I expect to see more carnage.
More carnage. Well, that's probably a given. More carnage is definitely coming.
Well, the Scions were probably, Ben Fox was probably hoping for as many stable energy runes as possible. He only got the 1 again. Let's see here. Megan only has 2 unstable energy runes for when she releases her magic explosion.
Yep.
But she's also in a really good position for that. There's still a lot of enemy units around her.
Yeah, the one thing I will note that's so much different in this game than in the previous one, right? We saw Andrew Miller play a very defensive game in the top 4. He held back. He played the long game. In this, he has been so aggressive. I don't know if he's taken Ben Fox by surprise. He's taken me by surprise. I didn't quite expect this much aggression.
Maybe he's just listening to his martial leaders. Megan and Aliana are upset that people are taking on their visage, and they just want to take out those evil twins.
Yeah, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
Or they are the evil twins, and then they can't have the good twins reveal who they actually are.
Right, exactly. Like myself. I mean, yes. Dun, dun, dun. Wait, we already used that gag. doesn't play well the second time.
Oh, come on. How many times did you say pounce in the last game?
Oh, I know. I've missed my pounces this game. So we have Megan Sinduin's Leox Riders are going to pounce.
No, it
into
doesn't
battle.
work
No,
now.
that was a half-hearted attempt.
It is more worthless than a worthless hashtag.
That's pretty worthless. That is pretty worthless. So I would expect here. I mean, the archers are kind of holding their own. That upper Leonx unit is almost done. So it looks like the archers, if they can take down that other Leonx unit this round, and then it looks like they've got Aliana. Ben Fox has Aliana primed to kind of hit that the sides of those archers and try to get them stopped from using their. I mean, they're not going to be able to be stopped from using their dispatch runner, but at least start whittling down that unit. That's one of the things that didn't happen in the last game, right? Those archers with dispatch runner and Starling, the rallying Starling, they never were touched the whole game. Mm-hmm. So it'll be curious to see how Andrew Miller deals with a threat like Aliana in the face of those archers.
Right, but after losing that last Sion, I panic every time I hit that word now. I'll bet that Ben Fox is wishing that he had a necromancer to bring back some of his units.
Yes, but remember, the Latari don't use that kind of magic, right? They can't do that.
You're right. See, you're becoming the new lore master.
No. I'm just standing in your shadow, learning a little bit. Like these smaller scions, and under the shadow of the larger ones.
Yes.
Bring it back around. So it looks like we've got almost all the dials set. It's that Megan Sinduin that seems to be giving Andrew Miller a little bit of problems. He's really contemplating this one. So he's not engaged with anything, which means that he's probably looking to charge. But by doing so, the issue that he has is he could end up too far away from his archer unit with that with the dispatch runner, so he'll only get that one attack in. So I'll be curious if that's what he's debating. But he's made it. Oh, it's not even the right Leox Riders. Not even the right Leox Riders. It's the other group being decided on. We've got to change. He had he thought he had Aliana down. He realized probably that the immobilized token was coming. My guess would be that means he's going to look to rally it to get rid of it, and then probably shift to get out of the way. So there goes the rally at 2. So he rallies away the immobilization. Not sure. Oh, it would have been a blue. He wouldn't have been able to actually use that. So here come the archers, as you would probably imagine, coming forward to at least get closer to the action. Interestingly, though, they are not going to be able to really do anything with that skill action. I mean, they'll be able to do the rallying Starlings, so that has the potential to clear out a Bane or ready an upgrade card. I imagine that one of the stuns or the immobilize. Oh, you know what? We were talking earlier. That immobilize was not under my in my radar, so it looks like we'll see. So he's using the rallying Starling. Where's he using it on? He's going to remove the immobilize from the smaller Leox unit.
I have another action still.
And then he has to choose now. This is probably going to be his wind rune, since he can't really use his dispatch runner. And he's going to make sure that everything there is in range, because dispatch runner is not going to do. It's not going to do a whole lot. So yeah, he's actually going to back it back up. An interesting move. So it keeps. He's probably hoping that perhaps maybe the Aliana from Ben Fox anticipated a forward movement there. So he's hoping maybe he'll try to undershoot him, maybe not get engaged. So we've got Megan here.
Well, he probably feels pretty confident with having Megan right in the middle of the fray. So maybe he's just planning on seeing how much damage she can do. Let's see here.
All right,
boy.
so Megan smashes into, sometimes those giant moose antlers can sometimes create a little bit of a problem. She just kind of gets in there and mauls them. But that charge is going to put Megan Sinduin on the flank. So what that does is she already has 4 dice, right? She has a white, 2 red, and a blue. Now Ben gets to choose either a red or blue to add on the flank. And it gets to add a 5th die. So this can be absolutely devastating. Let's see what the roll is.
This could be the change he's been looking for.
Absolutely. So it looks like 3 hits, a surge, and 2 morale. Now, Megan does not have any kind of precise. She does not have a 2nd rank, so there's no reroll available for her. She will, however, be able to use that surge to potentially ping somebody on the outer edge, but it's so 2 of the Leonx riders from Andrew Miller's Leonx group go down.
And I believe this was our first direct confrontation of the evil twins.
That's true. Yes, that is a good observation.
What if they're both evil twins?
Oh, then where's the real Megan Sinduin?
Where's the real Megan?
This has that opportunity for where in Terranoth is Megan Sinduin.
Where in Terranoth is Megan Sinduin?
Right. See, yes, we cannot allow a game to go by without some kind of musical note. So Thank you for providing that, Brooke.
Okay. I know that everyone loves my melodious voice.
That's right.
I miss my calling.
That's not true. See, listen, you're here. You're providing your voice to the millions of viewers out there. I don't know how many there are, actually. We don't.
Let's say millions.
Let's say millions. So it looks like actually we've got over 200 viewers on the stream, which is amazing. So thank you for everyone who's tuning in and checking out the first ever Rune Wars Miniatures Game World Championship. So that Scion unit, or that little, those archers are just raining havoc down. So we have another hit surge. He will get the reroll. Not what he was looking for. Still keeps it. So it is going to drop 1 more unit out of Megan. So she now no longer is going to have rerolls if she ever gets her front edge in contact again. But boy, it was interesting how quickly this has now kind of shifted the momentum of the game, right?
Right. Now would be the time for Andrew Miller to try and move those Deepwood archers back in there and offer some support to Megan Sinduin.
Absolutely. So that charge.
And then Aliana is still in the south, so she can come up and hopefully reach. Oh my gosh. So Andrew Miller's Aliana of Summersong can hopefully come up and offer some support to Andrew Miller's Megan Sinduin by taking on Ben Fox's Megan Sinduin.
Yes, and if you're confused at folks home, folks, so are we. No, that's not true. Just slightly. We
are all-knowing and all-powerful.
All-knowing and all-powerful.
Yes. Well,
that
if you're going to
is
be
a bold
all-knowing, you might as well be all-powerful.
That's
too.
true. I mean, what would be the point otherwise, right?
Exactly.
So that was so here we see the fruition of that move to shift back by Andrew Miller with those archers. Aliana ends up not engaged like Ben Fox probably anticipated. So he gets that panic token and is now facing the wrong direction. So having to, I am curious to see now how this plays out up there. But a great move by Andrew Miller, taking those archers backwards So for the start of the end of round 3, we've got our new runes, 2 stable, 4
No
unstable.
natural energy runes that time. All right, so now it is time for our second giveaway.
Oh man, second giveaway.
So we are going to be giving away an Ithukilon Army Expansion Box and the Ithukilon Infantry Command Unit Upgrade to bolster your infernal forces. And so for the next 2 minutes,
2 minutes.
we want you to comment #ForTheSwarm. You can comment as many times as you like. We would appreciate it if you did. However, each person can only be entered to win once.
One time.
And we will announce we will be announcing the winner a little later in the stream.
Yes. Now, Brooke, we talked about this last time. I believe we needed to get a different vibe with that hashtag. It has to be #ForTheSwarm.
Oh my gosh. I believe I pulled out a very, very bad Bane impression last time. I can try that again if you would like.
Yes. Yes. I think everyone at home would like that too.
Okay, gotta adjust the microphone. For the swarm.
Yeah. See, that's perfect. That's perfect right there. That's what we're talking about.
And I hope you guys like that because that will never be happening again.
Until the next time it does.
Until the next time it does.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's true, right? Either way. Technically, we're both right.
I was born in the darkness.
All right, so we have, looks like there's some measurements going on. This is, when you start getting into round 4, this becomes a really kind of pivotal series of rounds. A lot of these decisions on dials are very important. The nuance of the game really starts to take form here in these middle rounds. So I'm curious to see what each of these competitors are going to do to adjust to the changing battlefield.
Right, we've already had a very active set of early rounds. I mean, a lot of units have been swept off the board. Yeah.
It has been bloody. You were not wrong when you said that it would be more death and destruction.
I believe the term I chose was carnage.
Carnage.
Thank you very much.
Carnage. My apologies. My apologies.
See, I'm speaking as a girl who loves the Ithuk. I love bloodshed. I love violence. I mean, I love the idea of, like, cutting out someone's lungs and putting them on their back, breaking their jobs and making them a shrieker.
I am terrified. If anyone at home is watching this, I don't know if I'll make it off the stream, but it'll be entertaining up to that point anyway, maybe even through that point.
Oh, we have our For the Swarm winner.
For the Swarm.
So congratulations to the Wise Guy 14.
Wise Guy 14, congratulations.
You are going to be receiving all the things you need to build your infernal army full of flesh rippers and spine threshers and Ithuk berserkers and witches of the blood coven and grotesques and war sprinters and shriekers, and I think that's everything.
And that's everything.
Oh, and of course, it's led under the command of Ravos the Ever-Hungry, whose insatiable hunger and unkillable bloodlust leads the inspiration for the Ithuk's insane ferocity.
So Wise Guy 14, you'll be joining Brooke on the crusade of the Ithuk Yu'lon.
Yes.
Congratulations. So we have the attack here. This looks like it is coming from Megan Sinduin. So this is the final potential showdown here. The battle that will determine who is the real sister. Who is Megan Sinduin? But not quite yet. So we've got a little bit of damage put into that. So that is this battle is going to continue on to other rounds. So we've got this is interesting. We've got the smaller Leonx rider gets off the attack first on the Scion.
You know, it may be the smaller Leonx rider, but it could be the most ferocious. You never want to back a wild animal into a corner.
Does it have the most heart
Yes.
to pounce on its enemy?
No more
Yes.
pouncing. Stop it.
All right, I'll stop. So
You say that, but
I
I,
do.
don't believe you.
that's probably a good idea. Your instincts serve you well. I am curious though. So the Megan Sinduin, I'm sorry, the Aliana in the bottom half of the map. She really is kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
So we
for
got
now,
some-
but she has an incredible amount of speed. So Aliana, she can head out at initiative 7 with a March 4 and a shift modifier with the number of natural energy runes in play, which this round is none, but she
0.
can still go forward at 4.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that, I mean, I keep looking at the board thinking it is more like round 6, maybe round 7, but it really is only round 4. This bloodshed has all happened. I mean, these units, these armies are decimated already, and it is only round 4. I really am curious to see how much they have for the end game here.
And also, you say that Aliana is off there in the middle of nowhere, but she may be halfway across the battlefield, but that doesn't mean much to the Latari. They are fast.
That is true. That is true. They just need those natural runes to start rolling to really get her mobile across the field.
Right.
So we've got the 2 hits.
Panic check on my guy.
That is going to finish off the.
So strength 2.
Yep, that will finish off that Scion. I think we only
Was
have,
that the last one?
I think it was. I think we are out of Scions now. So it is just the 2 Deepwood Archer units as well as the 2 hero units, which are not easily defeated. At least the heroes are not.
I will win rune to
Well,
reform.
you say the heroes are not easily defeated, but they're going up against
Heroes.
themselves. Maybe
That's
they're
true.
just facing their inner demons, which is sometimes the greatest challenge of all.
I really wanted to use hashtag there, but I just want you to know I
No,
didn't.
no.
But I didn't. See, I didn't. I wanted you to know that I wanted to.
Okay.
Hashtag inner demons. So the.
That's it. No, I quit.
Oh no, I've lost my partner. Yep, here come the rain of arrows from the Deepwood Archers. We're on initiative 5 now, so I expect that this attack will happen, and then that's going to be followed by the other Deepwood Archer unit attacking as well. So that 4 damage.
She's a 2-3.
So, yep, he'll be able to do 2 damage. I don't know, listening in at home, if you can hear their dialogue between the 2 players. So he's going to do. He was going to do 2 damage into the Megan Sinduin, but decided instead to pull a couple of units from a couple of other figures from the tray. So that pretty much just leaves Megan Sinduin, who.
Oh my God! It's a face-off for the ages.
It is. However, the difference is that Andrew Miller's
Oh, yeah. I put
Megan Sinduin is going to be throwing is not going to be throwing as many dice or have as good of a health or defense rating. Well, actually, defense rating's the same, but she's down a health there. So, ooh, no hits on that. So we're going to roll in again. So that is going to be 2. That finishes off that last Leonx Rider up top. That's just eliminated.
yeah.
So it's a really interesting scenario here.
Put them where they were. Yeah.
Oh, we've got some dispute. Oh, the objective token has to drop. That's correct. So that is an objective token dropped by Andrew Miller's Leonx Riders.
As the carnage continues.
Absolutely, as the carnage continues. It looks like, so we have 2 Deepwood Archer units that are untouched, virtually untouched. They've each taken a single figure removed from the Megan Sinduin AoE ability. But for the most part, points-wise right now, they are full up in terms of what their original point costs were. We've got Aliana going here. This is going to be, I'm curious to see what this dial was.
I'm so happy that the Sinduin v. Sinduin has happened.
It's like you wanted to predict it at the beginning. You mentioned like, oh, it'd be great to see the 2 of them clash over the rights to the real Sinduin.
Moose versus moose.
And you got your wish. again, I would like to point out, it's so impressive to me. Ben Fox completely theory crafted this army. If you're just joining us, theory crafted this army in Ireland. The Latari have not released there yet. He flew here to Roseville, Minnesota, bought the Latari army stuff that he needed on Tuesday, and this is his first time competing. So kudos to Ben Fox for that. That's just incredible.
Not a whole lot of runes appearing in that cast.
No, that is a lot of blanks for a rune cast. So we've got 1 natural and 2 unstable. I don't know how much Megan's. I mean, the Megan Sinduin ability. You might try to pull. Here's the problem, and I think this is why we haven't seen Andrew Miller retoss runes, right? Is because every time he does anything that makes his Megan Sinduin good or improves her ability to do things, you're also giving that exact same. You're giving that exact same benefit over to Ben Fox.
Right.
So I think he's just been. And as he likes to do,
You see, Andrew is unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
He is a maverick.
I swear he has he's listening in on the stream and he's like, well, let me do what he says not to do. Whatever that gym guy says, I'm going to do the opposite because he has no idea.
You must have heard that you like the Deccan and didn't agree with that.
Wow, that hurts deep. You didn't have to go there. So yes, this was being the first World Championship for Rune Wars. We had 3 factions represented: the Latari Elves, which will end up being the World Champion faction. As well as the humans, the Deccan, the Baronry of the Deccan, and of course the undead armies of Wykar the Undying. So hey, I pronounced it right this time.
Oh yeah, sorry guys. I gave him a thumbs up, and I've realized now you guys couldn't see that.
Yeah, no, the thumbs up,
hey
finger
guys,
guns.
listen to these finger guns.
So now. Here's really the saddest moment, though, about the Megan Sinduin on Megan Sinduin attack, right? Bob Joe Sox is going to go down in one way or another, right? Like,
yeah.
Can we say that Bob Joe Sox is you can't have an evil Bob Joe Sox, right? Like, that's just not possible.
Okay, so we have a good moose name. Do we need an evil moose name?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Should I let you do another hashtag?
I think we should have to have another evil, hashtag evil moose name. Hashtag evil moose name. So everyone listening in on the stream, we're going to need another moose name, an evil moose name for Bob Joe Sox's evil twin. So let him fly.
So if it's Bob Joe Sox, maybe just Joe Bob Sox?
Oh, don't help him.
Sox Joe Bob.
Sox Joe Bob. All right, we'll see what they come up with. So
somehow I feel like our viewers are going to be more creative than me.
I don't know, but probably.
I mean, I'm expecting greatness.
I mean, they are this is the audience that tuned in to the Rune Wars Miniatures Game World Championship.
They appreciate poor jokes.
Poor jokes, lots of bad hashtags. Definitely some of...
2 commentators on the edge of madness.
The edge of madness, indeed.
Yes! Oh my god.
Oh, I have to vote for the top one person. Oh, no, there's some good
Oh my
ones.
gosh, no. Okay, so
they're all
our
good.
top 4, we've got Bojack Mooseman.
Bojack Mooseman is fantastic. Fantastic.
Bob Joel Left Sock. Bob No Socks.
Bob
A moose
No
with
Socks.
no socks, no.
That's just madness.
That's awful. And then last
Danger
but certainly not
Moose.
least, Danger Moose.
Danger Moose. I have to go with Danger Moose. Danger Moose is amazing. So, although, no, it's so tough. What do you think? What do you think?
I like Bojack Mooseman.
Bojack Mooseman. All right. So let's we'll get back to the end of the game here. So we've got an attack coming through here. So this will be, this is going to be Megan Sinduin. This is the twin fight we've been waiting for. All right, so 2 blanks there. Yeah, that's not going to do any good, but the...
2 hits, 3 searches. Ben?
and it's going to be the surges are really what's kind of important there, because you've got the range 2. Although, is there anything left at range 2 that can take advantage of? There's not. So that should finish off, because there's already 1 damage on Megan Sinduin. So 2 more, with her defense being 2. The 4 damage coming.
And then 4 with the surges.
Yep. So you can hear a little bit of the player back and forth.
And there goes Megan Sinduin.
Yep, there goes the Megan Sinduin from Andrew Miller that was in the Leonx unit. So that is wiped. That leaves Andrew Miller in a really precarious position, right? He only has a half unit left of the archers. They don't really have anyone around to support. Those archers are probably going to both throw ranged attacks, which have no targets. So really it comes down to Andrew Miller having the 4 objectives are important, right? That's 80 points worth of objective tokens, but I don't think it's going to be enough unless he can start finding a way to eliminate some of these units.
Mm-hmm. We might have another Evil Twins showdown of Aliana versus Aliana.
It looks like Andrew Miller's Aliana is going for that Megan Sinduin, which, if you think about it from a points perspective, right? Megan Sinduin is 36 points. It's probably one of the most expensive units on the board. On top of that, Arcane Mastery, not too much extra, so 38 points for that Megan Sinduin. So if Andrew Miller's Aliana can take out that Megan Sinduin, that's a huge chunk of points dropped in. And at this point, these are the kind of attacks or long shot attacks that are going to kind of have to be taken.
But he doesn't have Ambush Predator anymore, does he?
No, he does not. That was pulled off by the Scion. I was really surprised that he ended up using that march to get in there and use that up. So not a ranged attack out of this. So he anticipated being able to wipe out that Leonx unit, and now is just making sure that he has position to be able to grab that dropped objective token there. Yep. And they're going to come up just short, it looks like. But that easily gives them the ability to pick that up next turn. So we are ending 5. The runes are going to be recast here. So we'll get those dice out of the way.
Board's starting to look pretty bare.
It is looking very, very bare. It looks pretty solid right now for Ben Fox. But I think that we've seen in the past, you cannot count out Andrew Miller. So we've got just the 1 stable rune, the 2 unstable and 2 natural. So that's going to, I don't think that at this point that really benefits anyone in particular too much.
It will help Ben Fox's Megan Sinduin a bit.
That's true. Although the range, there's not a whole lot of. I mean, it gets the extra lethal, so that's going to be key against Aliana. Aliana does have, so it's going to be interesting to see which one engages first. So let's look at their dials. So Aliana comes in with what looks like
Initiative 3 if we're moving.
Yep, at 3 is the earliest move that she can make, whereas it's the same.
It's only a March 2, but that's all she needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Either one of them, I think, can engage the other. Oh, I'm sorry. Megan Sinduin is actually facing the wrong direction, so she would not be able to just make a charge in. She would actually probably want to. So you know that Aliana can come in at 2 or at 3. So.
But doesn't matter because Megan can't perform a reform action until initiative 4.
Yeah, in fact, it can't move until 3, and Andrew Miller has the initiative here. So he would have first opportunity to act at 3, which would put Aliana into the flank of Megan Sinduin. That's actually really interesting because there's not a whole lot that Ben Fox can do to stop that.
No, but what he can do is try to move that one unit of archers into a better position to offer Megan Sinduin some support against Aliana.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, if you can start laying in cover fire and just pinging away at Aliana's health, that could go a long way. Now, she does have 3 health, she does have 3 armor, and you're only 2 wide. So you're going to need double digits. You're going to need both of your dice to roll damage when those Deepwood archers are going to need double damage in order to actually do anything against that charging Aliana. So it looks like Ben is taking a little bit of time
He's
with
shifting his weight on his feet. He knows that this is like the vital moment.
Well, and I think what it is, he's looking here at I would guess Megan's dial and realizing, right, that there's just kind of what we just talked about. There's not a whole lot.
He's willing a lower initiative to appear.
Yeah, right, yes. Now maybe here's maybe what I would do in this situation. You know you're going to get charged. So as long as you survive, that means you'll have your action opportunity at initiative 4. And even though you're fighting from the flank, you still get the attack. You have your melee attack at 4, and Megan does roll 4 dice for her melee attack. And you can then dial in the surge needed to automatically throw one of those surges in there. So it'll be very interesting to see if that's the same kind of thought that came to Ben Fox.
But we don't know, because anything can happen in Runesworth.
That's right. So looks like we've got the dials. Yep, and here we go. So just as we had talked about, this is going to be the charge from Aliana into Megan Sinduin's flank.
Impact 2.
It's going to be the Impact 2 that's going to add 2 panic tokens to Megan. And then Andrew's going to be able to choose a red or a blue die to add to the red, white, and blue that she normally has. And here's the attack roll.
She is 2/4 protected 1.
So yep, if in case you might have been able to hear that. She has a 2 defense. She has 4 health. Protected 1 means that after all the damage is rolled, she's protected stable runes. So right now stable runes showing 1, so she's going to be protected 1, removes 1 damage after all of the damage has been calculated through hits. So Andrew Miller is facing a reroll choice here. Likes to be aggressive with these. It looks like he's debating. So at 2 hits from Aliana, 2 hits. Now you have an automatic Mortal Strike. So two Mortal Strikes are going in. So that brings 2 damage down already. That extra damage there is 3. He was really hoping, I think, for the double. So it's 3 damage, which gets through only 1. He really needed that red to roll into a double.
1, 2, 3, 4 in the pool.
So 4 damage. Yep, down 4 damage in the pool, down by 1 with the protected, so 3. So the 2 mortal strikes plus the damage brings it to 3. Keeps Megan Sinduin alive. So it becomes so we're checking here now. Looks like for range, or I'm sorry, for line of sight from those archers.
Yep, that's it.
And then we are
I have no 3s.
not doing the panic check. So we're just shifting with the archers here.
Did he actually shift the unit closer to Aliana?
He did, and then shifting away, maybe hoping that a potential turn charge would end up. Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, that's a really good movement choice by Andrew Miller. That is very smart play.
I was worried for a moment there. Like I know that Andrew Miller is bold, but this is borderline foolhardy.
And he is bold, but not foolhardy. So this looks like it's going to be the response attack. So as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be the realizing he wasn't going to be able to escape. He was hoping to survive. So here is Megan Sinduin's response attack on Aliana. He did get the double hit. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. The surge will allow him to add just the 2 wounds. So it looks like that keeps Aliana alive, but barely. So she is hanging on. Both heroes now. One. The difference, however, is that the Deepwood Archers. Oh, here comes the. This is the panic. Nope, no. He only had the 1, so nothing on the morale test. So that isn't going to be used. And then it looks like the Archers are probably going to.
So he takes 1 panic, removes 1 boom she doesn't have, and 1 stun.
There's the extra. Yep, there's all of the extra stuff that Megan throws back on there. And here comes the Archers' attack. So now this is crucial, because if Aliana goes down here, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything that Andrew Miller can do. So the roll comes in. We've got our re-roll. So that is enough to take out Aliana. And that feels like the nail in the coffin for the game.
A little bit. I mean, he's got a couple archers, very spirited back there. I mean, they really only have to worry about Aliana at the moment. Megan and the rival archers are still a good distance away.
Absolutely, and those archers, so their unit cost is down to 17 points, and then we're looking at an additional. Oh, we're doing math again. This is probably a bad idea. So it's 36 points. That's how many points that Andrew Miller has left on the board right now. It was especially painful because when Aliana went down, she dropped all 4 of those objective tokens. So that was 80 points that just was dropped. And Ben Fox kind of taking a look and seeing how probably anticipated a little bit of the movement from Andrew Miller's archers. So we're going into round 7. This is the end of round 6. We're going to get our runes cast. Ooh, so a lot of everything. Double stable, 4 unstable, and we still have the 1 natural rune. And it really comes down to, I think, whether or not, I mean, at this point, archer units that are standing back for Ben Fox, those are, I mean, that's 17 points apiece. So the 34 points from them, combined with the fact that you still have both of the other heroes up, and Ben Fox has 2 objectives claimed, I do not see an opportunity. Oh, and the early charge from Aliana is probably going to seal the deal here. So here comes the dice. We've got the charge in. No re-roll. This is interesting. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There is the re-roll. So Immortal Strike plus 3 damage, or 3 hits, and the surge for another hit, plus the automatic mortal wound.
1, 2, 3, and the surge for that one.
So
that will finish the game, and that will make Ben Fox, Latari player from Ireland, the first Rune Wars World Champion. Congratulations. That was a bloodbath early, was it not?
Yes. Both players decided to make aggressive, bold strokes in the first couple of rounds.
Yeah, they having all of, Andrew Miller in the previous game was very defensive, decided to come out very aggressively against the Scions, which is probably a good idea. Those Scions created that barrier, that wall in between the attacking units of Andrew Miller and the archers of Ben Fox. And so he had to make that decision quickly, right? That needed to happen.
So he sent in Megan Sinduin right away so that she could do a lot of widespread damage and handle as many units as possible in the beginning.
Yes, and initially that kind of surge, I think, took Ben Fox a little bit by surprise. So that was kind of a huge shift in momentum once those units started to drop. But we're going to be back in just a few minutes. We're going to have an interview with both Ben and Andrew.
Please stay with us for that, as well as some info about a Game of Thrones tourney with Jeffrey Allen.
Yes. Take care.
Hi, I am here with the first ever world champion of Rune Wars miniatures game, Ben Fox. So, Mr. Fox, how are you feeling right now?
Wrecked. I was shaking already heading into the final, because the semi-final was pretty intense. I was playing as Kyle, who is probably still the best player here. I'm sorry, I know you guys need to big me up a small bit, but I lost to him already in the Swiss yesterday, so had to be quite careful there. My list is probably stronger than what anyone else brought, so kind of that's what took me over the edge. And then from there, just be a little sneaky, get a little lucky, and I guess it works.
So you actually, you built this army online, and you didn't get a chance to really play it before now. Is that correct?
Yeah, see, there can be problems with distribution sometimes. So in the UK and Ireland, the models I was using today still aren't actually out in stores. So I tried to get them initially because I was trying to think what list would I actually enjoy playing in the World Championship. And I went through quite a lot of versions of it. So most of the list I was building there was actually modeled on the list that the German Armada champion has been running for the last while. So it's kind of trying to use the same kind of efficiencies and then seeing what we learned about the shortcomings in a lot of the units people are using right now. And yeah, so I called the FFG Centre and said, lads, here's the story. I have the list. I like how it looks. Do you have the models? And they said, no problem, we're going to go check. So it was kind of a tight moment right there because they didn't sound particularly certain. They came back and said, okay, we have them, but only 18 of each. It's well, I'm going to use more Ents than anybody else ever will, but probably not 18. So they had them set aside for me. On Tuesday we arrive, and there's a tower of boxes out by the till with my name on it. So we were building them here Tuesday night, and here we are.
Well, it certainly worked out well for you. So what can you tell us about the game that we just saw?
Well, for us it was a rematch because we already played in the Swiss yesterday. So this one was, I'd say, quite a bit tighter than the one yesterday. So for this one, Andrew got a lot more aggressive. So he came barreling at me with everything to try and maximize damage, try and push my units off the board. But the list still did what it did, what it does. It's designed to effectively minimize the damage application any units can build. So his units are all massive, terrifying, absolutely destroy anything I put out there. But the thing they destroy is 14 points. It's a speed bump on the road to happiness, and from there, my force has the projection ability, so everybody unleashes hell, and it worked. It's actually kind of funny because for a list that is built around Vicious Roots, this is the first game in which Vicious Roots was not activated. Now, admittedly, that's partially on me because I forgot. But yeah, in the end, it seems to have worked.
Right. So, building an army based on just what you could see online, that is a bold move, especially for, the World Championship. So what made you decide that you wanted to do this, that really drew you to the Latari?
Yeah, so for these ones, effectively, it was looking at what people are using. Because I play Game of Thrones the same way. I research to see what's actually out there right now. And for a lot of people, the thing that they were worried about was massive cavalry blocks, massive spear stars, massive, massive, massive. So I went for a less is more approach. So just swarms and swarms of men getting tossed in the way. So it was a bit of a gamble. Ultimately, I don't have enough experience in the game to have been able to accurately judge the list. So I'd say now people are going to take it apart on the forums and the face space. So we see what they have to say. But for me, it fit with what I believed would beat the list that are showing up online. And I played against them. Not all of them were actually quite what I was expecting. I think Kyle's list was actually pretty close an idea to my one, just on a slightly more sane and less extreme level. And that's where with the guys, because this is the third year for us coming to the World Championship with the same group from Ireland. And the guys were saying okay, this list is either going to bend the game to the point of almost breaking, or it's going to be horrible. Because the funny thing about the list there is it's actually weak to possibly the least popular card in the game right now. And they were saying that, look, there is a non-insignificant chance that round one in Swiss, you're going to play an 8-year-old kid who shuffled cards out the box until Cursed Signet came down on his big units. And then your Vicious Roots will do nothing, and you will go home in shame. Luckily, that 8-year-old didn't make it. So whoever you are, appreciate it. And yeah, here we are.
All right. Well, congratulations, sir.
Thanks.
Thanks. So,
You good?
thank you. Hi. Andrew Miller, we saw 2 games with you today.
Yes.
So you've made it all the way to the finals. So how do you think today went?
Today went pretty good. I came in second place, so today went pretty good. The last game was rough. I played Ben yesterday. It was a lot closer today. It was.
We saw you pull out 2 very different strategies over the course of 2 games. Earlier, you seemed to be playing much more defensively, hanging back. And this one, you really went forward with the Leonx Riders. What made you change your strategy so much between the 2 games?
So Dustin Ferran, I'm from the same town as him. We played a lot, so the defensive strategy seemed to work quite well against the archers to time your charge correctly. But against Ben, yesterday I tried a defensive thing, getting tokens, and they would just get stripped away. So I decided today that I would just get in as far as I could, as fast as I could, and start using the Moose.
Yeah, you did a lot of damage with Megan Sinduin early on. So is there anything that you would have changed or done differently today?
Oh yeah, I would have used the banner upgrade that can remove Bane tokens within overgrown terrain, for sure.
Let's hear. So we just asked Ben as well. So what made you decide to use the Latari today?
I liked the Linux Riders. I liked how fast they were, and I liked the side charge that they're capable of doing. And then the cavalry upgrades, like putting the Moose in one of them, just with all the blue dice they have, so you can splash damage everywhere. It worked very well.
Well, thank you for speaking with me. Congratulations on making it to the World Championship. It was very impressive to watch you fight. It was amazing. Thanks. All right, so we are here at the World Championship for Rune Wars Miniatures game. We just spoke with our winner, Ben Fox, and the runner-up, Andrew Miller, and now I'm going to pass us on over to Jeffrey Allen.
Hello again, everyone. Jeffrey Allen here with FFG Live's exclusive week-long coverage of Fantasy Flight Games 2017 November Championships. We just saw a great couple of games for the first championship for Rune Wars Miniatures game, with the Latari Elves firmly cementing their position as the faction to beat in the upcoming organized play season. Congratulations to our winners, to our runner-up, and to our giveaway winners, who will soon be joining the demonic ranks of the ravenous Uthuk Yalan. And thanks again to all of our viewers who tuned in to check out all the action. Tomorrow, we are going to start streaming bright and early at 9:30 a.m. to bring you the final rounds of a Game of Thrones the card game as it reaches its climactic conclusion and we determine who is worthy enough to sit the Iron Throne. Be sure to tune in for that and another full day of giveaways from Fantasy Flight Games. Thank you so much for watching, commenting, sharing. We love to see such a showing of support and love for our games, our players, our community, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow morning right here on the FFG Live Twitch channel. Thank you very much.